The first thing that you're going to need to do, if you already haven't done so, is head over to Vodive.com and click on Create a Website. You can scroll down to the bottom of the page and click No Thank You. I will continue with a basic site for now. And we're going to fill out some basic information. Next, we need to agree to the terms and conditions. And now we're going to set up some information about our website. The first of which is the subdomain that we want our website to be located at. Now we can use a custom domain name. So if you own the domain name myband.com, you can use that, and whenever someone types that in, it will go to your website. But for the sign up process, we're going to need a subdomain on Vodive.com. And so we'll just make ours davematthewsband.vodive.com. And next we need a site title. The next question that we need to answer is what template we need to use for our website. We're creating a musician's or band website, so we'll go ahead and select that option. And we need to give our site a tagline. And finally, we need to solve the RE CAPTCHA. And finally, we can click Create Your Website. We are given a success message, and we've got a link to the admin dashboard. We can go ahead and click on that link. We are now logged into our brand new website. We can click on the home page to take a look at it, and as we can see, we've got a completely configured website ready to run. Now we do have some demo posts in here. We can delete those posts and create new ones, which we'll do here in a second. But we created these demo posts just so you can see how it will look and see some of the other features like the recent videos, which we'll get into configuring all of these. The first tab that we'd like to draw your attention to in your admin dashboard is the video tutorials. If we click on that, we are taken to the video tutorials section for your website configuration. And these are just a set of videos that we've put together. You can use them as a reference, or you can go back over them at any point in time. But during this live cast, we are going to cover a lot of what's in this getting started video tutorial. The next tab that we're going to take a look at is the Video Pages tab. Video pages are where we're going to be able to upload and configure all of our different videos. And we first got the All Video Pages link, which we can click on, and we see our 4 demo posts right here. Now we can delete these demo posts by clicking on the delete link at any time. We're going to go ahead and leave them for now. You can delete them if you want to. But we'll come back to our admin dashboard and click on New Video Page. Creating video pages with all of your videos is actually a very easy process. First thing that we're going to need to do is select an image. This image is going to be used on the front end of our website as the featured image for the recent videos slider, and also this featured image right here. It's also used when the video page is shared on social media networks. Next, we'll give our video page a title. The next field that we have here is Custom Excerpt. It's an optional field. If we utilize a custom excerpt, it will be used again on the front end in this text right here, and also in the text for any shares on social media. However, if we don't use that, the post will just take content from this area right here that we're going to configure. So again, this is not necessary. Next, we're going to need to supply some content. This will go above the video page. And just as a side note, we can insert images here. And for formatting purposes, we can select the image and drag it to resize it. And we can also align it. So if we've got the image selected and we want to align it left, that will then wrap this text around the image. Go ahead and delete that. Click Next. And this is where we're going to select a few options to build out our video page. The first of which is what type of video page we want to build out. We've got video on demand. This is for all your pre-recorded videos. And then we've got a live streaming event. We'll cover the live streaming event here in a minute. We're going to select video on demand. Category, we'll discuss building out categories here in a minute as well. So for right now, we're just going to select video on demand because that is a category that we have, as we can see here in the sidebar. And next, we're going to decide if we want to make it free or paid. If we select paid, this is going to allow us to charge individuals for access to this content. It works very well for live streaming events because you can charge the equivalent of tickets for individuals to watch online, but it also works very well for videos on demand. The first field is the price to view. Second field is access length in days. And the third field is video preview. So we'll charge them $1 for 3 days of access, and we'll give them a video preview of 15 seconds. We're going to do 15 seconds just for this tutorial, but we recommend giving people about a minute to a minute and a half preview so they can decide if it's something that they want to pay for. So video type, we've got 360 or VR and standard. We're going to select standard, and now we need to select the source of our video. We can upload a video, we can supply a YouTube link, we can use an embed code from any other video sharing website, or we can use a Facebook URL. We'll go ahead and select YouTube, and now we need to supply our YouTube link. Click Next, and this is the final set of options. We can choose to include text below the video. We can choose if we want to allow comments or disallow comments. We'll click Allow. And if we are charging for any videos, we have to acknowledge that we have full rights to charge for this video. Now, we don't have full rights for this demo video that we're setting up right now, but we're going to delete it as soon as this tutorial is over. So for any video content that you are charging for, you need full rights. Go ahead and click Acknowledge. And the last field is tags. Tags helps for search engine optimization purposes, and it also helps for the search functionality within your site. And now we can click Submit, and we are redirected to our newly created video page. Now we are charging for this video. We are not going to see any difference because we are currently logged in as the admin. However, if we want to preview what our visitor will see, we can copy the link, and if you're in Chrome, you can click on these three dots at the top, and you can click New Incognito Window, paste that link. Now remember, we gave the individual a 15-second preview. So after 15 seconds, the video is removed and the paywall comes up. Rent this video for 3 days for only $1. When the individual clicks on this, they are taken to PayPal. Now we'll go over the revenue reporting and configuration here in a minute, but this is a very efficient and easy way to earn revenue with your website. So now let's take a look at a couple of other configurations for video pages. For the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to continue to work with this video page, but obviously you can create a new one from scratch. We'll click on Edit Video Page. Now you can change the configuration of any video page at any time, and where this particularly comes in handy is if you've got a live streaming event that you have created and that live streaming event is over and you want to change that video page into a video on demand with the recorded version of that live stream, you can easily do so. So we're going to look at basically doing the reverse of that. We're going to change this to live streaming event, and we're going to change the category to live streaming events. We're going to select a date in the future, select a time. We need to select a time zone, and we're going to go ahead and make this free. And you can actually live stream 360 or VR or standard. We'll keep it at standard. And now we need to select the source of our video live stream. We can do a YouTube URL, or we can do embed code if we're using Facebook Live or any other live streaming service. We'll go ahead and do YouTube, and we need to supply our URL. So this is our YouTube channel, and at the time of the recording of this video, our YouTube live stream had not started yet. So this is the actual live stream edit page, and this is where you can configure all your settings. After we have configured all of our settings, we're going to need to click on Events, and we're going to need to click on the live streaming event. And this right here, this watch page URL, you need to make sure that the URL has watch in it. This is the URL that we're going to need to supply. We can click Next, and we can leave all these settings the same. Click Update. And now we have a link here that says View Video Page. And now we have our live streaming event. It has the time that we set with the countdown clock. It's got our video player, and as soon as our live stream goes live, individuals will be able to watch it right here on the video page. If we wanted to charge for this live stream event, we can come back to the edit screen, click on Paid, and enter in the settings that we would like. You'll notice that there is no time duration for live streaming events because they will have access to it while you're live streaming. So now let's talk about categories briefly. Categories for our video pages and for our blog posts, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But to create new categories, we're going to click on the Categories tab. And we see this notification at the top. We recommend creating new categories with a parent category of either videos on demand or live streaming events. The reason that we recommend doing that is if you go out to the front end of your website, we've got two parent categories right here. And as we'll see here in a second, for your users' benefit, we recommend keeping these categories delineated underneath the parent categories. So let's go ahead and create a new category, and in this drop down menu we can select the parent category. So we're going to go ahead and put it in videos on demand. We can provide a description for the category here and leave the rest of these settings the same. Click Add New, and we've now got our subcategory. Now we're going to head back over to the edit screen of the video that we created. We'll click Next, And we're going to change this back to a video on demand. And now in categories, if you click this drop down, you will see the newly created category. So we'll put that in the Dave Matthews Band. We'll leave the rest of these settings the same. Click next, update. And now since we have a video that is in that category of Dave Matthews Band, we have a plus symbol in the categories module. When we click that, we see our newly created category. We can click on the link and we see our newly created video in this category. So those are the basic features and functionality behind setting up video pages. There's a few other configurations, but for time purposes we're not going to go over them. If you have any questions about setting up video pages, you can hover over this support section and contact us directly by clicking on New Ticket. So now let's talk about the website options panel. You can get to this screen by simply clicking on the website options tab. In this area, you're going to be able to configure a lot of the aesthetics and functionality of your website. The first tab that we have are the primary options. We've got the website width, which is going to be the width of the content area of your website. We've got the content background and the body background color. We've also got the option for a body background image. So let's demo that functionality real quick. We're going to leave the content background area as white, and we're going to upload an image for the body background. After we've uploaded the image, we can click select. And we have a couple of additional options we need to set. For background repeat, we want to put no repeat. Size, we want to put cover. Background attachment, we'll select fix. And position, we'll do center. Click Save Changes. Now if we go back out to our website and hit refresh and scroll down on the page, we can see that our sidebars are now that background image that we just uploaded, while the content area is still white. The next tab we have is Users, and we've got a few different options that we can set here. The first one is Allow User Registration. You can allow your fans to register to your website or not. Next option, we can, if we are allowing user registration, we can allow them to create their own video pages or not. Next, we've got Enable Member Directory. So if we come back out to the front end and we click on Members, this is the member directory page. Currently there's only one member, and if we wanted to disable this option while we build up our member list, we can do that. We can click Disable, Save Changes, come back out to the front end, and if we click Refresh, we get a message that the directory is disabled, but users will never be able to get to this page because the menu links have been removed. So if the member directory is enabled, we have an option to only allow logged in users to view the directory. The next option that we have is our activity wall. If we click on the activity menu link, we see our activity wall. Anytime that we create a new video page, it will show up in the activity section. as well as whenever someone registers for the website. We can also manually add activity as well. And just like the members directory option, we can allow only logged in users to view the activity wall. The next tab that we have is video settings, and this is where we can discuss the revenue portion of your website. All of your earnings that are generated from video content that you sell is deposited directly into your PayPal account. For that reason, there's a few pieces of information that you will need to provide. The first of which is your PayPal email address. For the next three fields, we'll need to head out to our PayPal account. You will need a business account, but business accounts are absolutely free. We'll need to log in, and from our PayPal dashboard, we'll need to click on Profile, and then Profile and Settings. Then we'll click on the My Selling Tools link and come down to API Access, click Update, then come down to View API Signature. If this is the first time that you're visiting this screen, PayPal will probably ask you to generate API information. But once you have, you'll have API username, password, and signature. You can click on each one of these links to show your specific username, password, and signature. And then you can head back over to the website options panel and supply that information in these three fields. And the final options that we have available under this tab are for the aesthetics of the countdown clock for any of your live streaming pages. The next tab we have is events. We haven't talked about the events functionality yet. We will. But for these two options, you can either enable or disable the events functionality. And you can also allow your users to post events or not. The next options we have are for the header of your website, which is this area up here. All of these options are pretty self-explanatory, but you have full control over the way your website header looks. This is the same for the navigational bar. You have full control from the color to the height, link font options, and more. The next tab is a very important one. It is going to control the way our website homepage looks. The first option is the item's background color. We'll switch this to yellow just for demo purposes. Click Save Changes, and if we scroll down on our home page, each one of the video pages or blog posts now has a yellow background. And in the same way, we can control the title font options, descriptions, and the excerpt length all on the home page for the video page and blog post items. Next, we have options that control the featured content on the home page. That is this section right here. We can change the background color or use a different image for the background. We can use a custom heading, which is this text right here. We can control the font options for that heading. And in the next option, we can configure how we want the content to look. We can have it be one column or two columns. If it's just one column, then we will just supply the featured content, which will show up in the full width of the featured content area. If we do two columns, we see a couple of other options that are displayed. In the first column, we can have a featured image or a featured video. We'll do a featured video, and now we'll have the option to supply an embed code. This can be an embed code from any of the video sharing websites, including Facebook and YouTube. And one thing to note is that we want to make the width of the embed code 100% so that it displays correctly on all devices. And we can leave the height at 315 pixels. The next section is our featured content, which is this text right here. Next option we have is the background color of this text. We're going to go ahead and leave it as transparent. And then we've got text options for the featured content. We'll go ahead and save these changes. And we now have a featured video with featured content and our custom header text. The next tab that we have is the homepage slider. This is the recent videos module. You can either enable or disable this module. It is set to enabled by default. The first option that we see is the background color for this module. We can also set an image for this module. And now we have different options for the aesthetics of this module. We can control the speed. We can control the number of columns. Set it to 3. Click Save Changes. And now this module has 3 columns. And we've also got font options for the slide titles, the excerpt length for each frame, and whether or not we want to display the author. If you're allowing your users to post videos, you may want to enable this option. Next tab we have is for the Contact Us page. In the first option, we can include custom content that will show up instead of this "please feel free to contact us by completing the form below." We've got font options for that custom text. And then you can also include business information if you would like by enabling this option and including your business address. The next tab is Global Font Options. So globally we can control our text with the first option on all pages. We can set the font family, the font size, the line height, and the color. We can do the same for all of the different text types on our website. The next tab we have is Animations. You can animate virtually every section of your website. We'll go ahead and demo one. So for the header animation, we'll select Fade In Up Big, and for the homepage featured content, Fade In Down Big. Click Save Changes. If we go back out to our home page and click Refresh, we see that we now have an animation. Next, we have the social network links for our header. For example, our Facebook page link. We can supply that. Click Save Changes. And if we go back out to our website and click Refresh, we see that in the header we now have a link to our Facebook page. We also have options for our footer to control the colors. We've got options for our buttons. Your website has 2 different types of buttons, primary and secondary. With these options, you can control the colors. And finally, we have a section for custom CSS for some of our more advanced users. If you know CSS code, you can input it into this less compiler. And the final option that we have is to export all of your settings or import your settings. You can do both as a file or as a URL. And that is a basic overview of the website options panel. The next topic that we're going to cover is the events section of your website. This is a demo website that we'll take a look at in which we have created an event. By clicking on the events link in the navigation bar, you will see a list of all the current events. And you can post all your upcoming shows. As mentioned before, you can also allow users to post their upcoming shows. This is what the actual events page looks like. You've got the time, a map to the event, the description, and the featured image. To manage events, you will hover over the Events menu tab and click on All-Edit Events. Here you will see a list of your currently published events, and you can click on the event to edit it. To add a new event, we'll hover over Events and click on New Event. Here we have a simple form that we can fill out to create our event page. And the last link that we see underneath this menu is the locations. Here we can edit any of our locations that we have created during the event creation process. Now let's take a look at the post functionality for your website. You can hover over Posts and click All Posts. Since we have not published any yet, we don't have any on this screen. To create a new blog post, we'll click on New Post, and this screen should look very familiar. There's less to configure for blog posts. Just like we created a video page, we can select a featured image, give it a title, select a category. We'll talk about blog post categories here in a second. Provide the post content, and in the same way that we inserted an image for our video page, we can do so for our blog posts, and we can format it by clicking on it and aligning it to wrap the text around the image. We've also got options for bold, italics. We can use different headings, bulleted and numbered lists, quotations, alignment for text, links, and dividers. For blog posts, we also have the option to create a custom excerpt, and we can create tags for our blog posts as well. We can click Create Post, and we are redirected to our new blog post. Categories for blog posts works the same way as video pages. We can click on the categories link, and just like video pages, we suggest to have the parent category be all posts for any newly created categories. So we can create a new category and give it a parent of all posts. We can provide a description, leave the rest of the options the same, click Add New Category. And now if we go back out to the All Blog Posts section, we'll see our newly created post. We can click on Edit. We can come down to the Category section and we see our newly created category. Come down to the bottom of the page and click Update Post. Now in the Categories module in our sidebar, we've got another plus sign with our newly created category. We can click on it and see our new blog post in that category. So we have discussed a lot of the functionality of your website, how to create content, and configuring the options for your aesthetics, as well as front-end web design. We also highly recommend that you go through the video tutorials, revenue reporting, Google Analytics, which will allow you to track the visitors to your website, the search engine optimization section that will allow you to submit your website to Google, Yahoo, and Bing, the media users and comments management tutorial, as well as the contact form and MailChimp tutorial, which will allow you to automatically add new users that register to your website to an email list through MailChimp, which on a side note is free for up to 2,000 email addresses. We want to thank you for watching this live cast, and we will now take questions.